Oh, that's
Welcome to the Flivver Channel live stream. Tonight we have the usual collection of YouTube hooligans. Randall from the YouTube channel Shed by the Tracks. Randall is an honorary member of Possum Lodge and brings his unique blend of grandpa humor to our show. Randall's incredible home-built speedster, the Prairie Flyer, is a wonder. He claims to have designed it all in CAD, that's cardboard and determination. Rob's enthusiasm for Ford Model Ts and Model As is outshone only by his generosity to others. Rob's family are Model T people going back generations, and he is a wizard at repair and maintenance. Vince from the YouTube channel Baggett Corner. Vince focuses on stationary hit-and-miss engines, and more recently, restoring a fantastic original Ford Model TT truck. There's nothing he can't fix. And I'm Steven. My channel, Flivver Channel, focuses on the quirky characteristics of antique cars. I explore the fun and challenge of owning and driving a Model T, and the history of early automobiles. Thanks for joining us tonight. Feel free to comment in the chat. Ask us anything. We monitor the chat and will try to respond to most questions. And we're live. Hey, everyone.
hello.
Hey,
Everyone.
how are you?
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yes, and Chris, welcome to Flivver Channel live stream. Thank you for joining us. I know it's late for you. It's a real pleasure to have you on.
1 o'clock in the morning. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I've just come in from the workshop, and I'll be back out there again after this is finished.
Oh, there you go.
Do you mean pub? You mean pub,
You can
Chris?
rest when you're dead. There's a saying goes, you can rest when you're dead. So, you know. it's
Oh, then
projects-
I must already be close.
My
So welcome, Chris. For viewers, Chris has the YouTube channel, The Bracket Factory. It's an amazing channel about his projects out in his shed. And I'm just going to start things off here by asking Chris to tell us a little bit about the projects he's got on the go right now. And then we'll start asking questions and digging deeper into them and that sort of thing.
Okay, right. So the main project at the moment, the one which consumes most time, sweat, energy, and money is the big American LaFrance V12 Speedster project. So at the heart of this is an American LaFrance V12 engine. So this is 8.1 litre engine out of the American LaFrance fire truck. And this is a 1949 fire truck. And I found this engine on Facebook Marketplace. Well, I didn't find it. Brian from Oak Swamp sent me this link to this engine because I was itching for another big project, and he sent me this engine, and I went to have a look at it. And it was,
So I've got
oh, there, here we go. This is the engine. You're gonna run it now?
Well, you tell me when you want me to run it. You can.
Yeah, okay. So found this engine, and the backstory was this guy imported an American LaFrance fire truck into the UK, and he wanted it to convert it into a mobile bar. to go to like big events. And to make it reliable, he took the American France engine out of it and put diesel engine. And so this engine sat in the corner of the barn for about 25 years. I think the roof of the barn must have caved in or something, because it was in a right old state. It was, I could tell it was a bit of a project, but at least it did, with a spanner he could turn it over, so at least it wasn't seized. So the heart of the project was this engine, and when I bought it, I didn't really have a clear mission as to what I was going to do with it, other than I just wanted it. And I wanted to get the first mission was to get the engine going, and then once the engine was going, I would then find a chassis for it and put it in a chassis. But run this, and then you'll get a flavour for what this thing sounds like.
Two 12-volt batteries connected in parallel, so it's still 12 volts. Fuel pump, so fuel pump's on. This is my secret weapon, of course. This is full of petrol, so ignition on. Squirt that down. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
This thing is just a beast. So that's probably 3 gallons.
Yeah, that never gets boring, I can tell you.
Your neighbors must love you.
What's hilarious is Chris was not surprised that it started at all. He didn't seem shocked. He's just like, oh, matter of fact, it just started up.
So there was actually the whole kind of project. It took, I think, there's like episodes to the project, and I think it took probably 20 episodes to get the engine running, because it just had all manner of issues with it. Valves snapped off, and some was cracked, and distributors were in bits, and it was just a complete somebody saying, what are we building, a Supermarine Spitfire? No. But there's another story about engines that we can talk about later, because I do have another engine which is like the one out of Spitfire. Anyway, so so lots of episodes to get the engine running. So when that was running, it was like, okay, right, so we now need to put it in a chassis. But of course you need to connect an engine to a gearbox. Now I had the gearbox that went with this thing, but it was absolutely massive cast iron gearbox. It had a first gear which is suitable for powering a fire engine uphill, fully laden with water and firemen. Insane first gear, the first gear was like this wide. So that was clearly not suitable. So the next step was to get a Rolls-Royce gearbox and adapt the Rolls-Royce gearbox to fit onto the American France engine. So that means re-engineering the flywheel and the clutch and all this sort of stuff. So I did that. And then it was a case of finding a chassis to put this all in. And in the end, I found a 1935 Daimler chassis. Obviously, it doesn't just drop in because the engine's much bigger. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through the process of modifying the chassis.
The Daimler, a lot bigger, and the big V12 engine. So let's have a look at the Daimler first, shall we? So starting with the suspension, it is pretty chunky.
Sorry about that. I'm not very good at working the controls here. So You can carry on, Chris.
Okay, so it looks like you're teeing up a section of video which shows the Daimler chassis. Now, this video I think was taken when I got it. So this is me sort of casing the joint and seeing how suitable the chassis is for the job. I think on balance, it's about right. You know, it's the right era. It's a meaty chassis, because in those days the bodies were all coach built, and they were massive and heavy. A big 4-seater car, and of course I only wanted to be a 2-seater car, so get rid of all the body, replaced with big engine sort of thing. So roll this one and let's have a quick look at it.
Stuff pretty chunky. I mean, these drag link arms are very big. It's a double leaf spring front end. These are control arms, because it's got these shackles at each end. Again, all very, very heavy duty stuff. Suspension at the back is the same. You can see it there, look. You can see these sort of droop straps. The bump stop is right up there. I mean, that's a good 8 inches. Lever arm dampers, I'm not quite sure why that's on there. Lever arm dampers. So I think the suspension looks pretty beefy. It's like a big old shackle on the back of there. It's all been reconditioned actually, so it's all in really nice nick. Right, now for the brakes. Obviously drums all round, and it's also rod linkage, so you can see the rod comes across to here. This is another kind of junction box here. Again, it's all been rebuilt at some stage by somebody. This, by the way, is a jack. More about the jack later. Braking system comes through to this pivot arm here, and it comes all the way through to the brake pedal. Pulls on this linkage here, and this dirty great big thing is a vacuum servo for the brakes. It's effectively power assisted brakes, and this is the vacuum servo, and this is the pressure vessel just here.
I love the intricacy of the brakes.
Operates through a series of linkages.
Yeah,
here,
it's
through to here, and across to there. They are 12-inch. I think they're 12-inch all round. Be nice to have them bigger, but they're not too bad. Pretty good. Handbrake mechanism is all in place and working. Again, that operates on the same linkage. All works. Very nice, and it's a very, very attractive lever, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful. Dirty great big tank. Not sure whether I'm going to keep that. It depends what body style I have. I'm not sure yet. What else? Oh, round here you have got the throttle linkage. This goes here, goes to here, goes to here. It's also connected to here, throttle. Again, I'm not entirely sure how all this works, but it's all lovely. I mean, I'm going to be keeping all of these linkages and what have you. It's all fantastic, isn't it? It's all beautiful 1930s stuff. I'm going to be using as much of that as possible.
Now, it's interesting to watch that, because events have, you know, come quite a long way since I filmed that, and whilst that brake system is all very interesting, I won't be using any of it.
Oh
no, because the Rolls-Royce gearbox has a mechanical servo on it, and the intention is to use the Rolls-Royce mechanical servo, not the Daimler effectively pneumatic servo. So and I'm kind of using, I mean, I'm in touch with a few people, and there's one guy in the UK in particular who's desperately trying to make me convert it into hydraulics, because he thinks I'm going to kill myself. But I am very keen to keep the rod braking system because it's period, and the servo, the Rolls-Royce servo mechanism, was used on Rolls-Royce Phantoms in the 1930s, and the Rolls-Royce Phantom is like a lorry, basically. It's absolutely massive, 7-litre engine, and apparently the brakes on the Phantom, you could lock the brakes up. So, you know, they're meant to be very good if they, you know, if they're properly, you know, engineered and reconditioned. So, plan to stick with the Rolls-Royce servo.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a slight, I don't know if you've seen the episode where I talk about this, there is a slight snag, okay? Not a snag, a feature of the Rolls-Royce servo mechanism, in that the way it works is that the gearbox drive spins this kind of servo mechanism, okay? And when you put your foot on the brake, the pedal is not connected to the brakes at all, it's connected to the servo.
Uh-huh.
So you put your brake and it controls the servo, and the servo pulls on the brakes. Okay, so far so good. So when you're driving along, you know, you put your foot on the brakes, the servo's going round, pulls the brakes on, everything's great. The only slight snag is if you're not moving, the servo's not spinning. So if you're not moving, the brakes don't work. Okay, you're thinking, well, that's not a problem. I'm not moving, I don't need brakes.
Right.
If you come into a hill, okay, you're driving to a hill and you come into a stop on a hill and you come to a stop and you put your foot on the brakes, they don't work. They don't work. So you have to pull on the hand lever, you see, because the hand lever doesn't work via the servo. So note to self, don't rely on the foot brake when coming to a stop on a hill, you know. And I'll have to tell that to Nat, my chief test pilot, when she takes it for its first maiden flight, you know, whenever that is, hopefully next year sometime.
Hopefully.
Anyway, so that where I'm up to with that project now is that I'm getting close to dropping the engine into the chassis for the first time, and it's the whole kind of measure twice, cut once type thing. Although it's now measure 50 times, think about cutting. You know, it's like that, because the engineering process of dropping the engine in the chassis is going to be fairly significant. So I don't really want to be in and out. I like to ideally get it right first time. So it's going to be interesting when I drop it in. And then when I've done that, of course, I've got to sort out the brakes. I've got to connect the engine. I've got to sort out the drivetrain. I'm probably going to have to get a different axle for it, because the drive shaft angle is all wrong for that axle. So, and then of course, just the mere job of building a body for it. 10-minute job. I should be using a lot of cornflakes packets for that to sort of mark it all out.
Yeah, we use beer.
That is one project. That is the main project. And then in that video, you saw another silver car. Now that's my 1932 Austin 7 special, known as a rag. It's called a rag because that body was built by a guy called Alan Ragg in the 1980s.
Oh.
And in the 1980s, he built 13 of these bodies. And they're very much... There it is, yeah. He built 13 of these bodies, and these bodies are based on a sort of replica of the works cars of 1930s, single-seater cars. Do you want to just play this, and we can have a look at Justin, and I can then talk about it?
Yeah, that body is absolutely...
And road legal.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is so cool. How quickly would you get pulled over here to drive the back down?
Within 5 minutes.
It also, because I can monitor, let's just switch this on, because I could monitor the voltage, I could see that the alternator's working fine. So, all in all, I think that was a successful drive.
So the backstory behind that is that I got the body. This is going back now about 2.5 years. I got the body, but that was pretty much it. The body was attached to the chassis, but there was nothing else. So I had to basically build the whole thing. Fine. It uses a lot of original Austin 7 parts. So the engine, the gearbox, the axle, rear axle is all Austin 7. The front suspension is all completely fabricated from scratch and is modeled on the works Austin 7 car. That's different. And then obviously all of the sort of brackets, lots and lots of brackets, had to be custom made and fabricated, and exhaust and inlet manifold and rear suspension, trailing arms and blah, blah, blah. All that had to be made. And but that was, what's lovely about that one is that everything is so small. Everything is tiny. You know, you can hold the front uprights, the corners in the palm of your hand. You know, tiny little things. You know, so it's an absolute pleasure to work on, and it's fun to drive. You know, it's not crazy fast, but it's exciting. You know. The only snag with it, of course, it's only single seater, so I can't go out and about with that.
No.
So hence building the big V12. That's going to be, we can both go out and scare ourselves together, you know.
Date night.
Yeah. Where should we go? Nowhere. It's too scary. So there's that, and then of course I've got the Lola. I don't know whether you've got anything about the Lola.
I didn't get anything.
The Lola. If you want to say anything about the Lola, it's actually a replica of a Lola T70 Mark IIIB. So that's the 1960s with a 6.3 litre V8 Chevy engine in it. And I built that during lockdown. It is a lockdown Lola. Okay. But I didn't. That was before I got onto YouTube, so none of that is really on YouTube. But the Lola is the walk around of the Lola. But the other cool thing that I'm working on is the Ner-a-Cars. Now the Ner-a-Car is a peculiar motorbike designed by a guy called Carl Ner-a-Car, American guy actually, and he designed it in 1918. And he launched it in 1921 in the States, and he very quickly launched it in the UK. So there's an American version and there's an English version. And one of my very first YouTube series of videos was the resurrection and restoration of just the engine out of a Ner-a-Car. So I didn't have an entire Ner-a-Car. I just had the engine that I found on eBay, and I had to make bits for it and make a kickstart for it and make a frame and an exhaust, and I used the carburetor off an outboard motor and got it running, and that was good. But I was looking for an actual Ner-a-Car, and eventually I found one about maybe it's about a year ago now, actually, or yeah, about a year ago. I found one, and
Let me stop you there just for a second, just so people can see what a Ner-a-Car motorcycle looks like here.
Okay.
Earliest days were hub centers.
There it is.
Chris, you've been on YouTube for about 2 years, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
That was one of your first projects, right? It was a Ner-a-Car.
It was. The very first project was just the engine from a Ner-a-Car.
Okay.
So just the two-stroke engine, yeah, getting it working, and I'd been looking for one for the whole time, all through building the V12 project, and finally one cropped up, and I found it, and I started a series of videos on restoring this Ner-a-Car and discovering its sort of secret history, and this Ner-a-Car is the most thrashed and used and not abused. But it's just, I mean, every single part of it was worn out to death, you know. And it being
It's like buying a Model T. They all seem to be like that.
You know, if this Ner-a-Car could talk, it'd be saying, "Shoot me now! Shoot me now!" It's like it had been worked on and repaired, and I don't know how many miles this thing had done, but thousands of miles.
Oh, here's one of your clips.
Look at that spring system.
Hub center, swing arm front suspension.
Right, the front wheel is now on. It was a bit of a struggle, not a struggle, but it's a bit knacky to get it on. You can't put the pin in first and then thread this on, because this shaft here the threaded rod won't allow you to. So you have to put that on first and then line these up, and actually put these pins in the wrong way around. I didn't realise until afterwards that there's actually a flat on here which this flat lines up with. So anyway, it's all now on. Wheel feels fine, kingpin feels fine, but of course the bit that I really want to do is actually put the drag link on, this bit, to see what the steering feels like, because if that feels good, we're getting close. So after solving the assembly sequence problem, you have to put the ball on, and then you have to do this up, and then you have to swing it round. I've got the front drag link on, and if I move the handlebars, long shot, there's virtually no play in the system. A tiny bit, but not much. Yeah.
That would not be the easiest way to come up with that idea.
No, it's when I first got it, you move the handlebars about 6 inches, and then the wheel moved. I mean, it was like,
imagine trying to ride that. Oh my god,
it's impossible to ride. Yeah, we tried, and you just couldn't, you know.
Well, even so, you can balance yourself, right? Like, I mean, you know, if you have that much play, you know,
it was impossible. So I mean, this thing had seen so much use, it was insane. So the projects have been rebuilding it, and so far with that one, I've got we did a test roll down the hill. Nat rode it down the hill without the engine, and it works. Have you got that?
Yep. Give me a second here.
So
let's
see that. That should be good.
That's my favorite part.
Great. Let's go for the right one. Oh, why is this being so difficult? Not steering.
I did have a dressed up in period costume for the initial roll, but I thought jeopardy levels were rising when we decided to roll down the local hill. So I thought it might be better to put a helmet on for this one.
Yep.
Just in case. Yeah.
Chris fulfilled the fantasies of all married men by pushing his wife down a hill.
I guess I don't have it. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's cool. Anyway, the bottom line is that it now steers and it stops. Bonus. The brakes, it's got 2 brakes, but they both act on the back wheel.
That's crazy.
Because so you've got 2 drums, one on either side. Because bikes had to have 2 brakes. And because you can't have a brake on the front wheel because it's hub centering, it was complicated enough, you know.
Yeah.
There's 2 on the back. And actually, they work reasonably well. The next step is the engine. So I did another episode where I got an engine and started it up.
I've got a clip where you're explaining how the friction drive works here.
Oh, that's cool.
It's it's a constant. It's like a variable transmission. So yeah, play that, and I'll check out how good my description is.
I don't know if they have these in the UK, but here in Canada they have them on almost every
Right, so
store.
the big lumps are now in, and we can explain how on earth all of this lot actually works. So this is obviously the engine, and this spins round when the engine's running, and this is your kind of flywheel face. So engine's running, nothing's happening. Now you've got this big shaft with this big wheel on it, and this wheel engages and presses against this face of this flywheel. And the way it does that is that in this hand grip, there's like a helical thread, and they have a cable which runs, screw that all the way in, a cable runs all the way down here, down there, through there, and it comes back to here, and it allows this to move backwards and forwards and then press against that flywheel. So the whole shaft moves backwards and forwards. So you twist, it's not a throttle, you twist the clutch, should we call it a clutch? You twist the clutch and it engages the friction wheel.
Left hand.
This lever moves the wheel from side to side, and the starting point would be there, so that's kind of first gear, so the ratio is really low, and then you successively move it forwards to a wider radius, and you change the gear ratio and you get a higher gear. So riding this bike is absolutely nothing like anything else you've ever ridden, and my chief test pilot is not particularly looking forward to this, because it's not quite like her other bike. Right, the test rider has appeared.
Oh, here we go. Here's the
You already
test
know
ride.
it?
Yep.
I like to see you've actually got a proper helmet this time.
Yep.
Safety as always. So just up the lane is a shallow hill, and we're going to try it down that. Right, we're at the top of the hill, which happens to be next to a pub. Could come in handy.
Oh,
So
lucky.
Nat, you're ready to go? Excellent. Right, I'll give you a little push. I'll send you on your merry way. Okay. Chocks away.
Goodbye, Natalie. Goodbye.
There she goes.
Crazy. That
Then
thing
we
is
retired to the pub for a debrief after that. You know,
What's interesting about
celebrate-
that setup is if you in here we have like snow blowers and snapper lawnmowers and stuff. Is if you move that the friction disc, or sorry, not the disc, but the engagement to the other side of the friction disc, you have reverse.
Yes, yeah. You can, yeah. Oh, start going backwards, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You might just
So,
only seem that way after the pub.
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
It might
yeah.
only
After,
seem that way after the pub.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So we sat in the pub car park, not in the car park, in the garden, and celebrated the fact that she did this unscathed, and we all live happily ever after. So where we're at now is that everything works, got an engine. I now need to do the final step, is connect the engine through the transmission, set up the pulley, the clutch mechanism that's all missing. And that is the next thing to do on that project. But I'm currently, the mega blinkered focus is on the V12. When I've done the V12, I'll get to that. But then what should fall out of the sky but another Ner-a-Car. And this Ner-a-Car is the polar opposite to the one I've got, in that it's hardly used. It's mind-boggling. And it's had two owners from you. So it's 103 years old. So two owners. Got the full history all the way back to the teenage girl who had it in 1922.
Wow.
and she used it from 1922 to 1927 when she was bought an Austin 7 by her dad. And then it went into a barn, and the guy I got it off discovered it in 1971, and he dusted it off, wiped it with an oily rag, and he's used it a handful of times in that time. So completely original. It's got the original 103-year-old tire on the back. It's just
we saw the tire.
I've got a clip here of your walk around. This thing is amazing. Here, I'll take a
Even
look.
the tire was still in so bizarre.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Good look at it, but I have to apologise in advance because I think I might be saying the word original quite a lot. So let's take a look. So here it is, and as I said, very, very original.
Still got the
Got
decals.
the original.
Oh my god!
Got the original Ner-a-Car transfers on it. Paintwork, albeit rusty, as you might expect with 102 years old, 103 years old, is all completely original. It's had no. It's the early Model A, so it's only got a single back brake, but it's completely untouched. So untouched, in fact, that it has the original back tyre, Dunlop cord motorcycle heavy. I think we may have to change that, regrettably, but quite interesting. It's had very little use. I think about 5 years in the 1920s, so nothing's worn out, unlike the other bike, and thus explains the original back tyre. This is quite interesting. This is the original number plate, and the number plate is part of the rear stand. It's actually riveted to it, and this font is fantastic, almost a sort of Gothic font. This is also interesting. This is the carbide lamp. It's both carbide and electric, and this just here and here is the carbide acetylene holder. The pipe that connects the two is gone, probably perished 80 years ago, so I need to replace that, but it'd be quite nice to get that up and running and see if it works. This is quite nice. This is the sort of a metal box with a leather interior, good for keeping spares, spark plug, etc. Of course, the lovely comfortable Ner-a-Car saddle, and unlike my other one, these springs are all nice and tight, not all flopping and worn out. There's been a few comments on the last video about the fact that the saddle rests on top of the fuel tank. This of course is completely original and how it's meant to be. This is, the tank forms a structural part of the bike. This is quite nice. This is the Lodge spark plug cap and a Lodge spark plug. Even these cables are completely original, as is the hand controller here. That's the air and fuel. This cover is held on by this big wing nut, so I think you probably have to untake the top of the carb out to actually get the thing off. So let's whip this off and have a look inside, shall we? So we can now see what's going on inside. This of course is our drive pulley, which goes from side to side, and everything is in really nice condition. There's barely any wear on this. It's nice to see that it turns over quite easily. Here we've got this peculiar brake which acts off the front handlebar grip, and that's a transmission brake because it's only got one back brake. Apparently it was completely useless. This is the fuel line just here. This is obviously the cable for this transmission brake. It's of course very, very nice to see the kick starts, because of course this is what's missing from my other bike, and I need to make one of these. And you can see the spring arrangement and the sort of quadrant down there that works. Obviously we've got the original carb on here. All very, very nice to see. Now this wiring here, this is because the previous owner, John, fitted a coil to it because the magneto coil had packed up, which is incredibly common. All my engines have got a Duff magneto. Maybe that I repair that, I'm not sure. But all I need to do, I think, is connect a battery down there somewhere, and I should be able to get a spark out of it. These brackets here are where a pump used to go. Be nice to find a pump to put on there. This is quite nice. This is like a little aluminium trim which is missing from the other bike. Now this is really cool. This is a switch, switching the lights on and off. And it's got a plate there. I don't know how original that plate is, but it's got a switch there. I must admit, I don't know what that is.
I know what that is now.
So it's good to see that it's got the under tray, because that's missing on the other bike, and of course it's got the exhaust system which is missing on the other bike, which I need to fabricate. This is a nice detail here. This is the little grease nipple and cap which goes on these front pivots. Slightly different design to the other bike.
Oh, just a
These
grease
are
cap.
interesting. These apparently aren't original, but were fitted in period. So they just give a bit more protection of the sort of elements and road crud for the rider. So it's essentially just a very, very honest, straight, and original bike.
That's fascinating.
Well, there
Chris,
you have it. It's a brilliant thing to have, because it means it's the same model as my other one. So
right.
I only have to look at the other one to work out, and I can copy the parts and get them both running. So we have an event in the UK called the Banbury Run. And the Banbury Run is an annual event for motorbikes pre-1930. And with the plan is to enter the Banbury Run, both of us on these, and have a bit of fun. So that's the mission. That's not started for 20 years, but I'm confident it will go.
No doubt.
You know.
No.
Yeah.
And now that you have two, you can have a race, because
Yeah, we're going to start the Ner-a-Car racing season, racing series. Vince, when you get yours, we'll have to have an international racing series.
Okay, yeah.
Certainly, of course.
Yeah. And as it happens, I've got a friend, a rock climbing friend actually, and his father-in-law owns 4 of them.
Unbelievable.
And so my friend is taking his bike test, motorcycle license, and he's going to join us on the Banbury Run next year as well. So
great.
So we plan to get maybe 3 or 4 of them together. So yeah, should be a good laugh. So that folks, they are my projects: the big V12, the Austin 7, 2 Ner-a-Cars, and there are a couple of other things lurking in the background, but that's what I'm working on at the moment. So,
Man, questions. Okay, here we go to questions.
Yeah. Somebody said that looks like a paper wood drive drum. It is. I've ordered. There's a company in America who do make new paper drive pulleys. It's called the Paper Pulley Company or something like that. I think there's only one company in the world doing these things. So I've actually had them delivered. I've got 3. I've also got a couple for 2 people I know in the UK, some spares for them. So I've not fitted it yet. It looks, when you get it, it looks like MDF. And you're thinking, how's this even going to work? It's like, but apparently it does. So yeah. So there you have it. There's my projects.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make sure I've got the story straight. That LaFrance engine came out of that fire truck that you showed on your channel, right? Yeah. And that says Elkhart, Iowa on the fire engine?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about 60 miles from here.
Right. Okay. So
Well,
that
your engine
that-
came from Iowa.
yeah, that isn't that mad. Yeah. I wonder how close you have been to that engine. You know, you could have been within 10 miles of that engine at some point.
Randall's not that old. Come on.
Sure, I have. When did the guy bring it over? Do you know?
He brought it over in about 2000, I think.
Oh hell yes, I was really near that.
Yeah, in about 2000 he brought it over. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and
Randall, you were a teenager then.
What, in 2000?
Yeah.
that engine. What's quite interesting about that engine? It's an American and France engine, but American and France bought the rights to make that engine from Auburn, and it was the V12 which was fitted to the Auburn Speedster. So when Auburn, and it was designed by Lycoming, and when Auburn went bust in the 1930, I think about 1935, they sold the rights to American and France, and all American and France did to the engine, it's almost identical, is that they increased the capacity, and they added another spark plug per cylinder, and they added another distributor to it to give it a degree of resilience, because it's in a fire truck. So you can afford to one of your ignition systems go down, you still get to the fire. It's also got two fan belt pulleys at the front, so you got two belts. So one snaps, your water pump still goes. You know, so that's all they did. So yeah, it's the same engine as fitted to the Auburn Speedster. So it's, you know, it goes back to the design is early 30s. You know, so
did the Auburn have any lighter castings on it at all?
No. No, the only lighter castings they had were the inlet manifolds. It had the same cast iron exhaust, because the exhausts come out the top of the engine. It's not they don't come out the side; they come out the top. It's a peculiar design. Both inlet and exhaust come out the top. So the Auburn had aluminium finned intake manifolds and cast iron exhaust, and I obviously had the cast inlet and exhaust, but one of the little things I did just for fun is to get rid of the exhaust manifold and fabricate those 12 individual stub pipes, just to liberate a bit of sound from it. So and that's reminded me about another project that I've got lurking in the wings, and that is a Rolls-Royce Meteor engine. And the Rolls-Royce Meteor engine is a V12 27.5 litre engine. And it's basically the engine, it's the engine that was fitted to the Spitfire is a Merlin engine, which was supercharged. And what they did after the war, sorry, I've got a cat that's invading. God, get away, cat. So what they did, they took the Merlin engine, they took off the supercharger, so it's normally aspirated, and they put it into a tank, the Challenger tank, I think. Was it Challenger? Or the one before that? So it's a tank engine, basically, 27.5 litre tank engine. I've got that. It's not currently on the premises. It's in storage at my friend's place, who's got lots of other engines. But the plan is, as soon as I put my V12 into the chassis, I'm going to get the 27.5 litre engine, and I can put that in the bomb trolley. Because, funnily enough, they weigh about the same, because the Meteor engine is an aluminium everything. Aluminium crankcase, aluminium sump. It's an amazing, because it basically was an aeroplane engine. It's all aluminium, so it's actually very light. So, and that, folks, that makes one hell of a noise, because yeah, that is air defenders on. Otherwise,
it was in the Hurricane and the Spitfire. It was in a lot of stuff.
Lancaster bomber. Yeah. It's a total iconic engine. So I'm looking forward to starting that up every Sunday morning to get the neighbours out of bed.
Well, hopefully there's no homeowners association that'll kick you out of there. So
No. Funnily enough, my neighbour's just changed. Actually, the old neighbour moved out, and he was a fellow petrol head and subscriber, but he's moved now, and somebody new's moved in. And I've met them once, and I say I have to apologise in advance for the sound of loud engines. And it's fine. I like motorbikes and engines. Well, right, okay, you say that now, but wait till you hear this stuff.
Wait till you hear my 27-liter.
If you start that big airplane engine on a Sunday, you won't have to listen to all them goddamn weed whackers.
Exactly, yeah.
You won't have to listen to anything.
I don't know. I don't have a cunning plan for this big engine. I'm not planning to put it in a car or anything, but I might. Never say never. I'm only really getting it just because it's an incredible thing. And I just want to start it up and invite my friends around, and we can stand there with a beer.
You'll be like that guy over there that's got that Edwardian racer that he put that Zeppelin engine in.
Yeah.
The Beast of Turin.
Yeah.
There's a car called the Beast of Turin. It's a Fiat. Yeah, and
it's awesome.
Flames coming out everywhere.
Go out the side. It's owned by a guy called Duncan Pittaway. He's got an amazing collection of fantastic cars and stuff. Yeah,
I've been fascinated with the Beast of Turin ever since I saw it.
Yeah. I've got a picture of Nat standing next to it, and it's taller than her. The engine. It's just, amazing thing. Yeah, runs on tiny, skinny tires.
Yeah.
So
causes quite a commotion at a petrol station.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I think that's about all the projects. There's actually a few more. There are a few more motorbikes lurking in sort of corners, but they're all a bit more modern. It's difficult to not be more modern than a 1921 Ner-a-Car, but I've got a bit of a thing for Yamahas as well, and that's probably because I had Yamaha motorbikes when I was a teenager, and so part of me still, I used to tear around and like a hooligan, and there's a tiny drop of hooligan left in me, but not much. I just want to go around slowly now. I'm getting too old to be going around too fast anymore. But I have quite a few old Yamaha motorbikes. I've got a bike called a 350 LC, which is the bike that I had when I was a lad, and a 500cc, and a couple of 1960s 50cc, 80cc, little tiddlers like that. They're anything with an engine, and I'm sold. And I'm a bit of a sucker for two-stroke engines as well. So. So there you go. I'll shut up now. If there's any questions,
I was trying to think back to when I was a kid, and I was thinking about my wall, and I think it was Kenny Roberts rode a Yamaha back then. Was it Kenny Roberts?
Yeah. He had a YZR 500. Yeah.
Kel Carruthers and
Yeah. I've got. I also have a replica of a YZR 500, which is the 500cc two-stroke. Yeah. Which is absolutely lunatic bike. Yeah, it terrifies me.
I was a Suzuki guy, but I'm not my 125s, 250s was about it. But I think we had 460s back then, stuff like that. So crazy, insane two strokes. The
YZR is a 500cc two-stroke, and it's absolutely crazy. Yeah. I like looking at it more than riding it now, to be honest with you. It's terrifying.
Oh, that was great. Chris, I want to really thank you for taking us through all those projects.
No worries.
It's fantastic. Staying up late to join us. It was fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get back out in the workshop after this. There's work to be done. I am currently in the final process of finishing the chassis mods before offering up the engine, for the first and hopefully last time. But it's everything is, because it's so big. it's everything is so close to the limit. You know, the engine is literally, if it was 5 millimeters wider, it wouldn't have fitted within the chassis rails of the car. So I was, you know, without carving lumps out. So,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's what's next. So not quite sure when I'm going to release an episode showing that, but the thing is, with this sort of work, fabrication and welding, there's only so much. When do you sleep, Chris? When I'm dead. So, when I'm dead. There's only so much you can show on a video. I mean, I can't show a half-an-hour video of just me welding. Put you all to sleep. So sometimes a half-an-hour video might represent a week of work, you know. And sometimes you just have to say, I went away, I did a load of stuff, and I made this, you know. And there it is, you know. And I did a bit of welding and a bit of cutting and a bit of filing, and here it is. So that's where I'm at now. I'm doing lots of fabrication. I've made this front cross member for the thing, and I don't know how many hours I've gone into it, but lots, you know. And I can't show you all of that because it'll put you to sleep. So I've just had to crack on and do it. I've enjoyed it. I have to say I really enjoy it, but I'm using a lot of welding gas at the moment, that's for sure. So.
Do you enjoy making the videos as much as you like fabricating, or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, the way I do the videos is that I kind of almost pre-edit it in my head, so I know what I want to show. So I only put the camera on. I won't put the camera on for the whole lot. I'll just put it on, do a bit, switch it off, and then just carry on. And then when I come to edit it, I don't have to sort of run through everything that I've recorded, hours and hours and hours. I literally just paste all the clips together, trim it, and that's it done. So it's pretty quick to edit it, and I often edit it as I go along. So I'll come in from the workshop, I'll download it, stick it on the end of my current video, and then that's it. I'm ready for the next day, and I don't have the enormous editing job at the end of the week or the fortnight. Right. It's kind of pretty much done, you know. So, but yeah, you know, sometimes you have to make sure you know the continuity is right. You know, you're wearing the right colour T-shirt or something, or you know, your hair the right way. You know, otherwise, you know, people say, "Wait a minute, you changed the T-shirt."
Yeah, everything that I don't do.
I was going to say.
So there you go.
Well, fantastic. We're going to let you get back out to the workshop. I'm going to go to
bed. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
No worries at all. It's been
a good night, and we'll hopefully get you back on in a few months and see.
Yeah, I'll good to come back. Yeah, I'll come back on, and I won't do all the talking. I'd like to hear what you guys, or maybe you can sort of coax some of the other British YouTubers out of their sheds to I'll have a chat with them. I can put a word in.
Please, we'd love to
Neil on. Maybe get Neil to talk about his Model T.
We would love to get Neil. I sent Neil a message, but I haven't heard back. But we would love to get Neil on here about his Model T.
Yeah. I'll twist Neil's arm, get him on. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Put in a good word with Tweed for us.
Yeah, I'll have a chat with Tweed as well. Yeah, track him up. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. I'm going to roll the credits. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Nice to see you.
Good night, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks to my guests tonight, Randall, Rob, and Vince. Couldn't do it without you guys. Randall, thanks for the music that you made for the show. And thanks to the viewers who tuned in to listen to us old car guys rambling on about old car stuff. We really appreciate it. Good night.